Hey everyone, the video you're about to watch focuses on finding credible sources. I just want to do a quick little disclaimer before you get into the video that this lecture is for your research essay that is due July 26th. Research takes time, so you have to start thinking about it even more this week. You have to review my feedback on the topic proposals that you completed last week to then move forward and start finding sources. So I wanted to clarify that that's what this video is for. And then to also say that there's two types of research. There's primary and secondary. Primary research is not required for the research essay. Primary research is where you are the researcher and you create your own, you find your own data on your topic. It takes way more time, so it's not required, especially in a summer school class. An example of primary research is if you sit down and interview somebody related to your topic, ask them questions, and use some of their answers into your paper. Another form of primary research is surveying a group of people, asking them questions, and using those answers into your paper. Nowadays, students use even, social media sites like Instagram, Twitter has ways to create polls. You can ask your followers questions and use that data. Or you can, do SurveyMonkey. It's a website where you create survey questions. Again, primary research is not required. This video focuses only on secondary sources. Secondary sources are required for the paper. Secondary sources is any type of source that's already published and available for you to use in research. You're not the researcher. You didn't write the article. You didn't conduct the data and survey people. You're finding information already out there, such as newspaper articles, documentaries, academic articles. Those are all secondary sources. So that's what this lecture that you're about to watch is focusing on, secondary, because secondary is required. You need at least 4 sources total for this research paper. So also a little thing, I change this paper each semester a little bit. I tweak it, so you might hear me say that it's an argument paper in this lecture. I tried redoing this lecture, and the Screencast-O-Matic website that I use to record my lectures I've tried it 3 different times and it's just not working with me at all this week. So I'm going to see what's up with that. So if you hear me say your argument paper, disregard that. Your research paper is an unbiased research report where you find sources about at least 2 different viewpoints about your topic. So basically my point is, if something in this video is unclear and you just don't really get what I'm saying, or you need more clarification on the source types, what is Google Scholar, what is EBSCO, what are websites, anything like that, I'm a little unclear what you mean by unbiased research report and not argument. This is where this week's very technical, so just please stop by my office hours and I can explain the technicalities of understanding what sources are and credible sources. So I'll let you go ahead and get started into the lecture of finding sources. Sources that lack credibility are difficult to include in a research report because they can easily be disproven, and they also reflect your research efforts, and it makes your research efforts look very negative. So, as stated, you need 4 sources. Remember, they should be at least, of the 4, 2 should be different, so have a little bit of a variety there. You can have 3 articles and 1 video, for example, because there's 2 different types of sources at least. So you can mix and match, but as long as there's 4 sources of 2 variety. And they can be any of the following: an academic article, a news article or magazine, documentaries, videos, and credible websites. I don't recommend you even use websites as a source. I didn't even use websites. I didn't even mention websites in the assignment guidelines. It's okay if you use them, but I really, really enforce you to focus more on articles and even documentaries more and magazine articles. I didn't include books in here because I want to focus more on electronic sources. If there are books that you found that you have that are relevant to your topic, that's super awesome. Unfortunately, I'm seeing less and less books as sources in research, And also, I want to talk about credibility in electronic sources because it's a lot easier to fake information online. A book is published, it's been reviewed, it's credible. So we're talking about electronic sources here, but just know that you can definitely use books as a source for this paper. So let's review each of these electronic type sources. Academic articles are any published article found in something called the library databases, or some of you all mentioned this word that you're familiar with, Google Scholar. So any kind of article from Google Scholar or a literary journal is called an academic article. They're given that title of scholarly academic articles because they are peer-reviewed, meaning a group of professionals in academia or in a specific research group got together, read that person's report, and approved it to be published in the article. So they're highly credible. They contain a lot of research because the author conducted research to get published in the journal. The most efficient way of finding them is through, I'll show you two things. Google Scholar is excellent, but also through EPCC. The EPCC library database has many databases, but a well-known one is called EBSCO. And you should be able to access the library databases without even having to be on campus. It may require you to sign in. I'm logged into Blackboard right now, and I clicked this link right here, and I did not have to sign in, so just test it out. So I actually recommend, again, that you download this PowerPoint while you're following along with the video so that you can take part in the interactions. So once you click that link, it will take you to the EPCC library databases. And the main database I discussed was something called EBSCO. The nice thing about EBSCO is it links the database right on the front page. So think of keywords that describe your topic. Maybe use what your overall topic is, plus one of your main reasonings to see what kind of results might appear on EBSCO. So I'm going to do a sample right here. So I actually had to pause the video because it did require me to sign in. So let me know if you all have trouble accessing this database, but I just had to click, it said hello guest, click here to sign in. I clicked it and it jumped me to the correct page. So just let me know if you have any difficulties. Now look at the search results. There's over 5 million results. That's way too much to look through in the time frame we have or in general. And also some of these are not academic articles. So first, if you look on the left, you want to select this checkbox right here, scholarly peer-reviewed journals, because that'll narrow it to give you results only on scholarly journals. Now, a lot of scholarly journals are very, very technical. You want to take time looking at them, understanding them, and seeing how they can be resourceful for your argument. You may want to even type a little bit more specific information. Think about what you wrote about in your topic proposal and use those keywords. What are your main reasons to find information? I'm just going to click one right here so you can make sure you know how to access them should you find a good article. First, make sure that you have access to the article. You don't have to go in person to these libraries anymore. They're available online. And as a peace of mind, if you select, there should be an option to select right here, limit to EPCC has it. Make sure they're scholarly peer-reviewed. That gives you the clarity that you can download this to your computer. So if you see right here where it says PDF full text, that means it is available for you right here and now. So either you click here or you click the title. I'll click the title just to show you. This is just the summary of the article. Read the abstract. The abstract tells you what the entire article is about. Read that to see if it's even helpful for you before you jump into the article. If you read the abstract, you think it's really helpful, then you just have to click right here on the left, PDF full text. Click that. It should open up for you, okay? And it's the access to the article. You can download this PDF, save it to your desktop, so you don't have to go back and try to find it. And this is the article, and it may help you. You can try, if you click Control F on your keyboard. I'm on my PC right now, and I cannot think what the keyword search is for the Mac at the moment. So if you have questions on keyword searches, just ask me. Type in words that might help you find important information within the article. These are very credible. The nice thing about these too is, say you want to use this as your source, as one of your sources. If you go back to, you hit the results list, or even right here actually, if you click this on the right and you find this word right here, cite, should be this little symbol of the paper, click cite, it already gives you the APA formatted reference for it. So for the reference page, don't go to MLA, make sure you're following APA. This would be your reference. It's an electronic scholarly academic journal, and that would need to go on your reference page. Of course, whenever you're using information from the article in your paper, don't forget the in-text citations too. Author, last name, year, and page if it's a direct quote, no page if it's not a direct quote. If there's no page number marks, count the paragraph that it comes in. So that's one of the databases, EBSCO. It's really, really helpful. Consider on this same page that you were originally on to click this down here, online databases. That'll take you to different types of databases like EBSCO. You can go right here to alphabetical list. And these are all different databases that are very similar to EBSCO that have the same types of formats. Some of them are a little bit more for literature, some are a little bit too technical, some links don't work, I noticed. So just take a look, but always stick to EBSCO first. And see how it might help you. Another way to find academic articles is by going to Google Scholar. Google Scholar filters academic articles for you as well, and you just type in your keywords again on the search. Technology benefits. I'll say education. Maybe I'm arguing that schools need more technology. An introduction to current trends and benefits of mobile wireless technology. This is a great article. It's in the ACC journal, so it's credible, and it has the PDF for you to download. You might have to do a little bit more work with EBSCO to make sure you have the reference formatted. Sometimes they don't provide the formatted reference. Let's see if it does. So this is your citation information. Just use my APA template, use the writer's reference, Norton Field Guide, any of those, and make sure you're finding the information about online academic journal, electronic source academic journal, something along that lines, to plug this information into the correct format for the template. If you have technical questions about APA, just ask me. So those are two ways for academic articles. So let's talk about news articles. Anything written, published in a newspaper or a magazine is considered a news source. So I think El Paso Times, the Washington Post, Time Magazine, BuzzFeed is more entertainment, but sometimes they have investigative journalism pieces. You never know, so it doesn't hurt to look. New York Times, I love The Atlantic, and I love The Guardian. Those are my two favorites. But those are examples of magazine/news articles. They exist hard copy in real life, or you can find them online as well. They are counted as electronic sources. Article, electronic source on the reference page. You also know the difference between a website and an article is if it's published on something that has numerous different articles, sections about all the articles, opinion pieces, politics. That's a magazine. That's a magazine, or I should say actually it's more of a newspaper source. If it's a website, there's different information on there. It's not all published written work. So just kind of think about that between the difference. You know it's an article if it's on a well-known publication, and there are several different articles listed, different authors, different sections in the newspaper, you know, entertainment, politics, health, opinion. That makes it an article. That makes it an article in a newspaper. And it's in a magazine. For example, Time magazine is known. They have several different authors as well, different feature stories, different pieces. So that's the main difference again, because a website just has different tabs where you can jump around and just find quick information about something. Documentaries are videos about a person, moment in history, and/or a general idea about something. They present factual information, often with interviews from a reliable individual or individuals who either research the subject or have direct connection with the topic. You most likely can find documentaries on streaming services now, such as Netflix, Hulu, HBO has documentaries, Amazon, sometimes YouTube also has documentaries as well, but those are the main areas that you can find documentaries on. When you think about videos, we live in a digital era, and with that we have continued access to video, news reports, and topic discussions. Problems with videos as sources is anyone can upload videos to YouTube. I'm talking more about videos on YouTube. Anybody can upload a video to YouTube. I uploaded this lecture to YouTube. It's easy, you just need an account. So consider the following to determine if a video is credible that you find, whether it's on YouTube or just on a Google search. Look into the username of who uploaded the video, meaning what else have they created? What are they known for? Ethos of the person or people in the video. If people are being interviewed or if they're talking in the video, speaking to you as the audience, who are they? Does it give their title, their expertise? Do they explain their knowledge in the subject? Do they prove their knowledge in the subject? How is the video made? If it's poorly made, and you can't really distinguish what's being recorded or filmed, it's not credible. View count also might help. Sometimes I try to find YouTube videos that have a little bit more view count. That's not always 100% credible, but it's a good start to understanding who created the video. And just the general information presented. Do they refer to professionals if they themselves aren't? If there's a narrator and they're just the narrator, do they reference professionals in the field that is related to the topic being discussed? Websites. So you have to be very, very careful with websites, and I would not use them as the majority form of your sources. Anything that has a .org means it's an organization, so it's highly credible. It's been approved to be called an organization. .gov means government. It has government data, census information, population statistics. That is more than credible to use as a source. .edu, it's an educational website. epcc.edu is educational. Anything from those types of websites are also credible. .com can still be used, but avoid blogs. Blogs are almost like what you do each week for the online course, for our online course, where you it's more than okay to write about what the topic is. It's your opinion. That's the genre of a blog. You're offering your opinion and your understanding of a subject. That's not where it's not credible. It's more than credible to discuss that. But the problem with blogs when you're using them as sources for a research paper is anybody is allowed to write a blog. So unless that person is bringing sources into that blog as well to discuss, it's not credible because it's just more of an opinion genre. Poorly designed websites. What I mean by that is if you go to a website and you can't find the about information, if it's poorly made, if you click links and they don't work, those are not credible websites. And like we said, websites that lack a clear purpose, you're not quite sure what the purpose of the website is, the information is a little unclear, misspelling, or if there's no about page, contact information, stay away from those. So quickly looking at samples, the first source we talked about were academic articles in scholarly peer-reviewed journals. If you want to kind of pause the video and say yes or no to answer the questions, it helps, but just glancing at this is an article in a journal. Is it or is it not credible? So we look here at the left and it tells you what journal it's published in. It tells you the author's names and who they represent. They represent a university here. And they use in-text citations here to prove their research. So the answer would be yes, this is a very, very credible source. When you think about a news article, you want to find evidence as for why or why not, especially if you don't know the publication. It's an article, there's an author, it tells you what the general publication it's on, but you're not sure if the information is credible. Maybe it's just an op-ed. So take a glance at this. Pause the video, read it, think if this is credible. So if you pause the video, you see that it has a location of where this is occurring, and that's usually the genre of a news article. It tells you the location. It uses some statistical data. It's an article about geese flying home. So, okay, there's a quote about the geese. But if you pause the video, you may notice that the article starts to become very unprofessional in tone. You're seeing language that isn't appropriate for academia. And then if you remove this and you read this quote, like 500 tired and stressed out geese during his return trip to Wisconsin last mating season. If I get a decent head start, I won't have to deal with the big flocks and all the endless damn honking. Who's being quoted? Who's talking here? If you look here, it said the 8-year-old waterfowl. If you don't know what a waterfowl is, a waterfowl is a type of duck, or bird animal in general. So, this is not a credible source because I don't know about you all, but I've never talked to a bird. So it's not credible. It's a joke. It's from something called The Onion. If you're unaware what The Onion is, it disguises itself as credible just by the way they format their articles, but it is satirical. It pokes fun of different discussions and political issues and just everyday community stories. So it's not credible. YouTube video. I already gave you a hint about The Onion, so you already have your answer. But if you pause the video and click this link, it'll take you to a video about filming something called Our Planet. Sounds accurate, sounds like a cool documentary. But if you watch the video, it talks about how it took a couple of billion or million years to film. That's impossible. People do not live that. One person does not live that long. It talks about filming on Neptune. We cannot go to Neptune to film. And it just gets a little bit more silly as the video progresses. So even if a video looks like it's well made, it has some maybe statistical data at first that sounds convincing, make sure to stick around and make sure that it's credible. And last but not least, go ahead and pause the video and click these Websites. Would you call this a credible website? The answer is no, because first of all, it's very hard to follow along to. It's poorly made. It's got very dated graphics, flashing lights. I don't even know where to focus on first. And it does not have a clear about page or purpose, although I think jokingly it achieves its purpose. It's the world's worst website ever. So stay away from websites that look like this. Let's take a look at this next link. And remember, .edus are better. This is the Smithsonian. Even if you don't know what the Smithsonian is, if you scroll down, it tells you. The Smithsonian Institution is the world's largest museum, education, and research complex. They tell you who they are. It's a clear website. This is a good example of the difference between a website and information from an article. This is a website because there aren't published stories. It's just telling you bits of information that you can click into and find out more about and use as a source. So this would be a website. They have a magazine that you can click into and learn more about. But this would be more of a website because you can explore and learn information, get involved, support about history, anything like that. So this is a very credible website. So if y'all have questions about sources, definitely think about that.